If the Southwest was a body, Colorado would be its heart, turning snow into water and pumping it to the furthest extremities of the region through the Colorado River. It snakes through 7 states and Mexico like an artery. For millennia, gravity fed water throughout the basin and into the Gulf of California. Then came America's westward expansion. Then came the dams. Then came climate change. Today, the Southwest circulatory system is being pushed to the brink. The river rarely makes it to the sea, and reservoirs across the region are shrinking. The Southwest's heart still pumps, but if things don't change, even that organ could fail.
This is desert. We're not raising a crop without water. We want to preserve it.
Farming in the Southwest is hard work, and Troy Waters knows that without the Colorado River, it would border on impossible.
We can raise a lot of crops here. As you can see, peaches and palisade on the other end of the valley to all kinds of row crops down here in this end.
The cash crop on his farm is alfalfa, grown for seed. It uses far less water than when it's grown to become animal feed.
So when they first started talking about demand management and everything, I said, shoot, somebody ought to subsidize me for raising alfalfa seed. I've been conserving water for the last 20-some years.
Troy also grows wheat. It uses more water, but it isn't irrigated in the heat of summer. Then there's another crop he's just gotten into, camelina.
There is a good market for it. There's 2 major companies. One of them's backed by ExxonMobil and the other one's backed by Shell Oil that are looking in to start making fuel out of this crop.
It's a green crop grown to produce biofuel, and it could become a new shade of green if the government gets behind it.
Problem of it is it's a low value crop because it's not subsidized. Corn prices are high and soybean prices are high because they're subsidized by the federal government for fuel.
The water that irrigates Troy's crops is pulled from the 55-mile-long Government Highline Canal.
I always thought this is pretty cool on their canal system, this big siphon that goes through to come underneath the wash right here that they put in.
He's part of a massive system of water rights administered by the Grand Valley Water Users Association.
Right now, we have 1,630 CFS going into the diversion canal.
This is the diversion dam, and the association's general manager, Tina Berganzini, says this is where water is pulled out of the Colorado River to irrigate Grand Valley crops.
This is where we divert not only our water right, but the water for Orchard Mesa Irrigation District, Palisade Irrigation District, and Mesa County Irrigation District.
2023 was a wet year, so Berganzini and her staff haven't had to worry about running out of water. That isn't always the case.
When it's 100 degrees outside and we don't have enough water, we just don't have enough water. So the larger farms have to rotate their fields and they're only allowed to order a certain amount of water at a time so that certain areas of the association can't dry up our canal and then everyone at the end doesn't have any.
Those hot, dry years are becoming more common. And Troy wonders if he'll be able to pass his passion on to future generations.
We're not in it to get rich. We're in it because that's a way of life and that's what we enjoy. I think maybe I'm going to survive, maybe make it through the end, but I don't know if my son will be able to.
The lifeblood of Southwest agriculture starts here at Snowpack in the Colorado Rockies. This snow in Gothic will melt into the East River, flow into the Gunnison, and end up in the Colorado River near Grand Junction. At least that's how it would work in a perfect world.
I mean, if we can preserve all of it, that's exactly what would happen. All the snow that falls here would make its way into the river and end up downstream and to everybody who needs it.
2 pounds, 6 ounces.
Who's got a notebook?
A team of researchers is studying all the ways moisture can be lost from the time it falls out of the sky as rain or snow to the point that it runs off into rivers and streams.
2 pounds, 10 ounces.
Heiste Bauer is the team's principal researcher.
Stream flow in the Colorado River and all of the rivers like the East River are strongly dependent on the snowpack seasonally. So with every little step, we lose a little bit of water heading downstream. But understanding the dynamics of all of that for the snowpack up here, where everything kind of kicks off, is really important.
Important because it could lead to more accurate runoff forecasts.
Knowing that we need water, and water is critical to our being.
No, Tara was 2.6.
This research started during a really dry winter.
2 weeks ago last year, in the same exact spot, we had little patches of snow around. Now we're standing on 2 to 3 feet of snow that's still here.
It ended after one of the snowiest winters on record.
I can say that yes, it's a good year. We like to have good years, and there will be an impact, but I think it'd be foolish to think that this will solve all of our water problems.
It's not like we didn't see these problems coming. The Colorado River Basin has been sick for a while, the symptoms obvious to those in the know. Climate change is leading to longer droughts, an increasing population pulls more water out of the river basin, and agriculture uses more water to produce the food that population eats. But the Southwest Circulatory System, the Colorado River, has been in trouble for more than 100 years, thanks to one simple mistake.
We avoided that basin-wide type of litigation in the Colorado River Basin because we adopted this compact.
Water lawyer James Eklund is talking about the 1922 Colorado River Compact. Water law in the West is based on the doctrine of prior appropriation,
Which just means that if I have a water right, an entitlement to use water that is older than yours, then I get my water before you get yours.
In 1922, the 7 states that depend on the Colorado River, Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and California, crafted the Colorado River Compact, splitting 20 million acre-feet of water rights between the states. And that's the 100-year-old problem.
The crisis is real. The compact was designed for a different river. It was designed for a 20 million acre-foot river, not a 10 million acre-foot river. And that's essentially what we have now, is more along the lines of a 10 million acre-foot river.
The basin was split into the upper and lower halves. Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, and Utah got 7.5 million acre-feet of water per year in the upper basin. California, Arizona, and Nevada got 7.5 million acre-feet per year in the lower basin. In the 1940s, Mexico was added to the compact and received 1.5 million acre-feet per year. Add it all together, and there should be millions of acre-feet left every year, but that's not the case.
As you and I talked, the upper basin has never used their full allotment, ever. It's never gone even all that close to 7.5 million acre-feet of water, whereas the lower basin is using 15 to 20% beyond that. They're in the 9 million acre-feet of water.
We're asking the question about the solar energy from fire.
Life gets tough when water runs low.
Questions, comments, thoughts.
And University of Denver hydrologist Michael Kerwin has experienced it firsthand. He's done research in Cape Town, South Africa since 2016. And in 2018, that city almost ran out of water. The day they would have had to turn off the supply was called Day Zero.
And so they made this sort of announcement, this proclamation, and what happened next is unprecedented in that the conservation, the commitment to conservation, the community building, the groups coming together and trying to use water as many times as possible in their own homes, created a situation where they were able to push this Day Zero date out into the future to the point where it never came.
He says the Southwest shouldn't have to get to that point to start seriously conserving water.
And so to me, that's the lesson of the Day Zero drought, is that right here, right now in Denver, when things are good, we should instead be educating people on the semi-arid climate that we live in, the over-committed water resources that we actually have.
But it's easy to point the finger, shift the blame. Roughly 80% of Colorado's water flows through creeks, streams, and rivers on the western side of the Continental Divide. But about 90% of Coloradans live east of the divide. Denver gets about half its water from the Colorado River Basin. Water from reservoirs like Lake Dillon flows east through tunnels beneath the mountains to make it to the city. But domestic use doesn't even make up 10% of the state's water consumption. 90% of the state's water goes to agriculture. The rest is used by industry. Instead of looking for who to blame, Kerwin says everyone needs to use less water.
If you look at the rest of the world, it's a low bar. We use so much water here. We use way, way, way more than we need to live comfortably. And agriculture, I think you begin to enter into a reduced consumption. And I don't know if it'll ever match the global warming, drought, population growth. I don't know that the system will ever be balanced, but I think that's a good place to start.
I'm afraid that what's going to happen is demand management, system conservation, whatever you want to call it, is the first step to buy and dry. Because at the end of the day, water follows money.
In 2023, California, Arizona, and Nevada agreed to use 13% less water through 2026. But researchers, water managers, and farmers like Troy say something much more long-term is needed to truly address the problem on the Colorado River.
I know we got the majority of the water and we're using the majority of the water. We're also feeding this nation. The only way this is going to work is we all do it together.
Without this river, the Southwest would be unrecognizable. It's the beating heart of massive cities, the pulse of a desert ecosystem, and it's the lifeblood of a fifth-generation farmer on Colorado's western slope.
I don't know what's going to happen. It's scary. It's flat out scary. I know one thing, I'm going to stay in the battle and keep fighting and try to keep agriculture alive out west, but we'll see what happens.